Yo, let's replace a rear sprocket. And while we're at it, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to remove and replace your rear wheel. Tools you'll need: a ratchet, a breaker bar, a 17mm socket, 32mm socket, 10mm open-end wrench, 12mm open-end wrench, some grease, some glue vase, something to clean up with, a torque wrench, calipers, and of course a rear stand. The luxury tool is the pit bull wheel wedge. While the wheel is still on the bike, I like to start by breaking these loose. So if you're not replacing your sprocket, of course you don't do this. So to make this easier, of course you want your bike in gear, and you go ahead and break these loose. All right, next I'll go ahead and slide our pit bull pit wedge. Get that nice and secure. Then using the 32mm, we're gonna go ahead and get our nut off. Takes a lot of force, might have to hold your bike down. Now, if your bike is unmolested, your axle is flipped the other way. The nut is on that side. I flipped it because the brake caliper is on that side, so it's easier to line up, and you'll see that when I install it. Since we have the wheel wedge in here, it makes getting this out super easy. You don't have to hold anything, and you can just pull your axle straight out the other side, easy as can be. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're taking off. There should be a washer behind your nut. One thing the manual recommends that I don't do is that you thread in your slack adjuster. I'm not sure why they recommend that, because you can still get your wheel off. And there's plenty of room to get your chain off. So I'm not sure why they recommend that you thread those in. That was a wheel spacer that fell out. Make note of that. There's a wheel spacer on each side. So I've taken them both out. Here's how your rear brake caliper is in. There's a lip here for this part to slide into. The tire was in here like this, and when I pulled it out, I pulled everything out. And put that off to the side. Be careful not to scratch your swing arm. I have steel braided lines, so I'm fine with them hanging like that. Now your sprocket is not mounted to your wheel. It just sits in it. And within it are these cush drives. And we'll make sure to rearrange those when we put it back on. And this is why I wanted to break these while it was still all assembled, because it's so much easier to do it there than to do it here. So now we just remove all these nuts. There's a washer behind the nut and these bolts. So after you remove them all, your sprocket just comes straight off. I'm looking at the shape of all of these teeth, how they're still square on the end of all of them. And they're coming to a point. This sprocket is still in good condition. And I'll keep this sprocket in case I'm ever at a track that has a long straight and I feel like I need more top speed. So I had the stock tooth count on, which is 42, and I'm going up 2 teeth. So this has 44. Therefore, their circumference is bigger, and we're gonna have to adjust our chain anyways. Most rear sprockets, they go on to where either the logo or the tooth count is facing outwards. Before I reinstall all of these, I'm going to clean them up a little bit, and then I'm going to install blue Loctite. Just a dab will do you. Now these bolts have a flat side to them, and you use that flat side to be able to clear these knobs here. That way it can fit all the way flush with this part of the sprocket carrier. So these are all just touching, and I go a little bit more right until it stops. All right, now I got them slightly snugged up, and we'll put it back on the bike to get them all torqued down. You wanna freshly grease up your axle and your spacers. So for the wheel, you just put in each of these little cush drives, going the way I have them going here. And now before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to go ahead and run these all the way in. So you'll need your 12 on the outside to break loose the lock nut. Spin that all the way back. We don't have to go all the way back. You gotta go quite a ways. Spin that one out and spin the adjuster in. And I'm not going all the way in. I'm gonna just go past this. That should be plenty enough. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we can just set this back on here. Don't forget your spacers. Bring your wheel on in. Don't worry about that spacer for right now. Pull your chain up and through, so where it clears this. Slide your wheel forward. Get your chain started on your sprocket. Just like so. Rear brake situated. All right, to do this, I find it's easiest to get the wheel or the tire past where the brake caliper mounts first. Grab your brake caliper, slide it in there. Takes a little jiggle and finessing, but no stressing. Make sure your brake pads are out the way. Make sure your spacers are still in, because that can happen. Then using your tire wedge, you can line this up to where it's the perfect height. Now, of course, this jack, this tire wedge isn't necessary, but it's one of those convenience things. And I don't mind paying for convenience. And this is why I flip my axle, because before the tire wedge, it's kind of a pain to try to thread through the other side and make sure you was getting the brake caliper as well. This way, you know, your brake caliper is already there. You just slide it on through. We actually are gonna need to thread these in a lot more. Put our washer back on, then our nut. Then you want to tighten your axle up just enough to where it takes a little bit of force to move it around. That way it's a little easier to make sure you get your chain slack done right. There we go. All right, so now that we're tightened up, take measurements. All right, so now I've got the distance from each of my axle holders. I like to start from an even place. Take a look. That looks like I need at least 2 more. I was halfway down, halfway down, halfway up, about halfway up. Make sure it's still pushed against both of them. That looks much better. And now you can measure your slack. Says we need 35 millimeters. So I got 35 millimeters here. So what I'm doing here is I'm bracing up against my fork stand to keep me steady, so I can hold my calipers here steady. All the way down, all the way up. That's actually about 35. Down and up. It's 35 millimeters. So now we want to make sure these are even. 18 millimeters, 18 millimeters. So we're good. We tighten up the lock nut, being careful not to adjust the adjuster. Leave the adjuster there. Tighten that down. Do the same on the other side. Now, last but not least, time to torque down. These need 64 Newton meters. And I'll start with this here one on the vortex. Just did vortex, so I want to do this one next. Then we'll just go around making sure they all got. All right, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay blessed, don't be too stressed. Master, you out. Peace.